right, everybody, welcome to the SecLock.com Pros webinar. My name is Dan Zappulla. I'm the Senior Web Content Manager here at SLD. I'd like to welcome you all to the SLD World Headquarters here in Westwood, Massachusetts. And today we're going to be covering a bunch of different topics, ranging from basics of search to the resources we have available. We'll go through product page, cart, the account screen, and if we have time, we'll also touch on a few educational pieces that we have for you as well. So the first thing I want to say is on the screen that you're looking at right now, next to the stream on your right side, you'll see a messages window. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to type your questions right in there, and I'll be able to answer a few of them at the end of the stream. And if I can't get to your question at that point, please type your email address in with your message, and I will shoot you a note over the next day or so when I have an answer for you. So please feel free to do that. I want this to be an interactive experience. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to the SecLock.com homepage. So this is the homepage of SecLock.com. Many of you have seen this before, I'm sure. And I want to go over a few basic elements of this before we really dive in. First, you'll notice this little red chat bubble down on the right side. This is our live chat window, which is an instant connection to our technical services department. This is where we can also send alerts to you as a customer. And it's really one of the best and quickest ways to get in touch with us if you have questions about an order or a technical question, or you just want to toss something off of us. In addition, you'll notice our main navigation up here. So this is really kind of the main control panel of the site. Everything from your catalog menu, which has products and manufacturers and price books and resources, to support, account, educational pieces, your cart, and then over to our first topic, which is our search function. So if you're just coming to the site and you have an item in mind, chances are, if you know the item number, this magnifying glass up here is going to be the first thing that you hit. So this is a very powerful search function, and it can be used in a number of different ways, and let's go through them right now. So let's say that you're coming here and you already know exactly what you're looking for. So let's say we're looking for a door closer from LCN. Let's say we're looking for one of their 4040 XP closers. So what we would do is go ahead and type that item number in here. So let's type that right in. Okay, so we've entered an exact item number, but the issue is that we have a lot of results coming up here. This is way more that we probably want to browse through, and it's still a little more than what we're looking for, right? So a really cool feature of the SecLock.com search function is this little checkbox right here called Exact Match. Now what this is going to do, and you'll see it live right on your screen, is as soon as I click that checkbox, that's going to dynamically update the search results that you see in front of you to include only the exact search term that we've typed in. So keep an eye on this stuff right here as we click this Exact Match box. Okay, so automatically that's narrowed it down to two different door closers. And these two item numbers right here contain this exact search term that we've typed in. So it's incredibly powerful. So not only are we narrowing down here before we use exact match, but then we're going to go ahead and click that and narrow down even further. So if you weren't sure what you were coming to look for, you definitely know now, and it's narrowed down to two of them right there. So that's one way that we can use the search function here. The other way is by going back to our main navigation here and going into the catalog menu and then clicking on products. So here we see all the products sorted by product category, and you'll also see a few drop-down menus here and a different type of search function. And this one is the items begin with search function. Now this is a little bit different because it functions differently. So let's say that we know the beginning of an item number, but we don't necessarily know the finish or if it's right-handed or left-handed or anything like that. So let's start typing one in, and let's type in that exact same item number, but we'll just type in the first part of it. So here you'll notice I only typed in 4040 XP, and the items that have shown up here are only ones that begin with that exact term. It's not items that have that phrase anywhere in the item number or anywhere in the description or anything like that. It's only those that begin with that exact term. So let's keep typing in something a little more specific, and you'll see them pare down even further. And of course you can keep going as far as you want. So you've seen two different ways that we can search and find what we're looking for here if we have an item number. So let's clear that out, and you can always clear it out by hitting that X that was here, or you can hit that reset button, and the whole page will come back to where we started. Now, those are great if we know a semblance of an item number, but what if we're in a situation where we know the attributes of the item that we're looking for, or we know the manufacturer, or the size, or I mean, anything? Well, there's a way to get to finding what you need, or a family of items that you need, by utilizing the attributes that you know. So let's look here at the category and subcategory. So let's say hypothetically that we're looking for a Schlage knob, and we know it's going to be Schlage, and we don't know too much else about it. We don't have an item number, but we have a few key attributes here and there. So let's go ahead and select a category here, and we're going to select locks, cylinders, cores, and key blanks, because we know that we're looking for a lock here, right? So we come to a page that is loading every lock, cylinder, core, and key blank and related item on the site, and that gives us 665,000 results, which is quite a few. And I don't think at first blush you're going to go through and find exactly what you're looking for right there, because that's over 500,000 items, right? But if you look at the left side of the page, right above my head, up here, you'll notice a function over here called the product filter. And this is a dynamic way to narrow down all of the items in the site just by the key attributes that you know. So let's start at the top, and let's create a hypothetical situation here, and let's find the exact Schlage lock that we're looking for. So let's click on manufacturer, and as soon as we click on that, there's a huge drop-down menu that pops up with every single manufacturer that's available on the site. Now we can either scroll down to Schlage here, or we could simply start typing it. So let's type that in and tap that. So if you see right here, we've gone from 665,000 items down to 68,302, and that's by filtering one attribute. So let's keep going, and let's say hypothetically that we know that this is going to be in Schlage's ND series. So let's scroll down here, and we know that the ND series is right here. Now watch the results on your screen again. So that just went from 60-something thousand down to 5,372. So let's keep going. Let's say that we know the finish. So let's say we know it's a 605 finish. That goes from 5,372 down to 640. So you've seen in the matter of, 45 seconds, that we've gone from 665,000 locks down to 640. And that's only by inputting 3 attributes. So let's keep going. So let's say that we know the function here. So let's say we know it needs to be an entrance lock. So let's click on entrance lock, and we've gone from 640 down to 35. And let's also say that we know that it's going to be an Athens lever. And now we're down to 9. And now we're at a point where we can really kind of figure out exactly what we're looking for here. I'm willing to bet that one of these 9 is the lock that you came looking for. But we can even dive deeper and narrow it down even more. So let's take a look at the cylinder type, and let's say it's an FSIC prep less core. And now we've gone from 665,000 locks down to 2 in under a minute. And you can do this in any category, in any situation, just depending on what you know. So that's a way for you to take the information that you have available, even if you don't have an item number, and pare it down to what you're looking for. So let's rewind for a second. Let's go back to the home page. So we've seen how to find products in a number of different ways. We saw how to search for it. We saw how to search for an item using exact match. And we saw how to filter to an item using only the attributes that we know. But let's go ahead and take a look at a product page. So we're going to look for a Sargent lock right here. So I had one preloaded that I had searched for earlier. So this is the product page, and this is very similar across every item that we have on the site, and there are a number of different things that you should understand here. So there are basic attributes. Of course, you have your title, a brief description of the item here, and then we have your list and your cost. And I should note that we're looking at a dummy account right now, so all the lists and costs that we're going to see are just for demo purposes. But list and cost would be right here. Your ability to add to cart however many that you like. And something really cool here is real-time inventory. So here, not only can you see that we have 24 in stock, but if you click this little inventory button, it'll let you know what's in stock where. So here we can see that we have 24 of these in stock here in Westwood, but we also have warehouses in the Chicago area and in Las Vegas. So if we had any in stock in Chicago and Las Vegas, it would show them there as well. Now, what's cool is you can type in your own zip code here, and it'll give you a transit time from where the item is currently located to where you are. So let's say hypothetically that we're going to type in zip code 90,002, which is Greater Los Angeles. So it would tell you that of the 24 that we have in stock here in Westwood, Mass, it'll probably get to you around June 20th, next Wednesday, which is about 4 business days from now. And you can do this for any item, and it'll show you transit times from each one of our warehouse locations. So let's keep going down. Here you'll see a description of the item next to a really high-res, feature-rich image. The manufacturer, finish, country of origin, ship weight. And here, this little icon, you'll notice that this particular item is fire rated for 3 hours. So if we scroll further down, we come to our specs section. And this is really every specification under the sun for this particular Sargent lock. It's everything from grade and finish to application to package and product specs, hand thickness, latch type, everything under the sun that is available from the manufacturer. We have it here organized in a very easy to read way for you. And here, next to the function and the lever design, you can also click on those and get a bit of a diagram. So there's a lot of information to make sure that you're looking at exactly the item that you want to buy. So let's go back up to these tabs here. So we're looking at the specs tab, but there's also details and resources next to that. So let's tap on details. Now here you'll see a description of Sargent's 10-line series. This is really just an overview of what this particular series has to offer, pertinent info about the lock that you're looking at. And let's also tap on resources. Here you'll find resources that are pertinent to this particular item. So here you'll see the 10-line catalog, and you can tap into any of these instruction sheets pertaining to this item, literature, parts list, sell sheets. And for each one of these, you can either tap here to load it in a window right on your screen, and we'll do that right now. And you see that PDF load right on your screen. And here on this screen, you can also click here to search through the PDF if you'd like, and you can also print it. If you don't want to view that on screen, you can click this little down arrow here, and what that'll do is download a PDF copy to whatever device you're working on. So let's scroll further down. And one of the cool things that we have on many of our product pages are companion items and similar items. So first, let's look at companions. Here, these are items that go with this particular lock. So this wraparound plate here, these adapter rings, these fit well with this particular Sargent lock. If we're out of stock on this particular lock, we don't have the finish that you're looking for. If you're looking for something in a different price range, we have similar items down here that are very, very similar form and function and finish. And you can scroll through those too, which will also give you varying price points and manufacturers to go through if for some reason that you weren't pleased with a particular item that you're on. So that's an overview of a lot of the specs on the product page. But there's one thing at the top here that we didn't really touch on, and that are these 4 icons right here. So you'll notice your star, a little bookmark, an envelope, and a print icon. So here, you can add an item to your favorites. So let's say that you come onto the site a lot and you know that there's a particular lock or door closer or whatever that you favor and you buy it a lot. You can simply add it to your favorites, and it'll add it to the favorites in your account menu. And you notice there's a little green thing behind my head here that pops up to let you know that this was added to your favorite screen. And that'll show up into your account, which we'll go over in just a second. Here we can look at the compare feature. So if you add this item to compare, what this is utilizing a function that lets you compare the attributes of specific items. So let's say that we want to compare it with another item within the 10-line series. So back in the 10-line page here, if we click Add to Compare on this item as well, you'll notice that up in the corner here, we had a little icon pop up. And if we click on that, you'll see the 2 items that we added are now side by side. So here you can compare in a very easy, straightforward way. List, cost, country of origin, every attribute that we just looked at in the specs tab on the product page is here for your comparison. And you can do this not only between 2 items, but as many as you'd like. And the screen will keep expanding all the way to the right until you have all the items that you'd like to compare right in a row. So let's go back onto this page here. Back to the icon. So the third icon here, you can email this to yourself or a colleague. And the fourth one is you can print a copy of the page. So that is an overview of the product page. So let's go ahead and say hypothetically that we want to go ahead and buy this Sargent lock. So we're going to add this to our cart. So we have a little window that pops up that says, hey, we successfully added this to our cart. And if you notice down here, you might also need certain items a little bit below. And those are the companion items that we talked about before. So there are a few options here. We can either continue shopping, we can view our cart, or we can go ahead and check out. So let's view the cart really quick. And you'll see here a summary of the item that we have, some details on it. Here we can add a part number manually if you just want to take the quick route and just type a part number in and automatically add it to your cart. And you can also search for an item here. Here you can save the items in your cart as a quote, which will also add that as a quote to your account. And we can go ahead and check out here. You can go ahead and save a cart by clicking on this star, and we'll name that, which will also add it to our account, as you see here. Let's go back to the cart. You can export this out if you'd like to save an offline version of what you have in your cart now, or you can click this to clear. So since we've gone on for almost about 15, 16 minutes so far, let's jump into the account screen. So if we click on the account dropdown, you'll see a number of options here, from orders to quotes, invoices, and a lot of different options. But let's click on our overview. So here you'll be able to see an overview of your account. And again, we're just looking at a dummy one for the purposes of this demo. But here you'll be able to see your total balance right now, your orders and sales year to date. And if you scroll down, you'll get top level looks at your sales trailing over the last 6 months, and also your orders and your yearly trend of sales. In the left-hand menu here, you'll see a number of options. And first, let's click on orders. So this will have a very familiar layout as we go through the different options here. But on the orders screen, you'll be able to see your entire order history. And for each line item here, you'll be able to click to see more information on the order, any reference number, the date the order was placed, the status of the order, any PO number, amount. And if you see that little paper airplane there, you'll be able to track the order. Up here, you can copy everything that's on your screen and export it to spreadsheet, document, whatever you have offline. And here you can also export it as a CSV and export it into an Excel file. Up here on the top right, you can view orders from any date range that you wish. So you can do a custom range here, or you can choose one of the presets. So let's look at just orders from this last month. It'll dynamically update in front of you. If you have a particular order number in mind, you can just search for it right here. So let's say we want to look for 7540707. It dynamically updates right in front of you. And you can search through any one of these fields too. That doesn't just have to be order. So let's go over and click on invoices. And again, you'll see a very familiar layout right in front of you. So here you'll see all of your invoices, invoice number, date, order number, status, PO, and so forth. Same rules with the date range, same rules with copying, exporting. And here, you'll notice you can download a copy of it here by clicking on this down arrow. That's the same premise as when we were looking at the resources as well. If we go into reports, very similar, familiar layout. Here you can look at a summary by SKU, SKU details, and you can look at your purchase history sorted by manufacturer. And again, all of this is able to be sorted by date range of your choosing. Here's if you ordered anything that's currently on back order. And you'll see a few dummy parts in here as well. You can also see how many you have on back order, any due date, customer PO, and the order number that each one of those items is associated with. And again, the same copy and export options. Quotes. If you've received a quote from one of our TSRs on the phone, you can see it right here in Sales Quotes. And if you've saved a quote here on site, that's where this will show up right here. That's if you saved a quote from the cart page that we were at before. And all of these quotes are valid for 45 days. This is where you can see all of your favorite items, and this is where we favorited that item before, that Sargent lock. And these are a few items that I had favorited before as well. Here you can take them out of favorites, export them, copy them, and you can view a brief summary of the item as well too. If you go down to saved carts, this is where all your saved carts are. If you have a grouping of items that you frequent and you order all the time, this is a great way to speed up your process and get in, get out, get what you need, and be on with the rest of your day. This little icon right here will load that particular cart right into your cart so that you can just click that, check out, and go. Returns, this is where you obtain an RMA. This is how you contact the manufacturer. We have a full list of support numbers for every single manufacturer that we offer, and further instructions below. And the last one here is your profile, and this is where you can update your email and your password. You see my email loaded right in there. So that's a brief overview of the account screen. And the last thing we want to touch on today, because we're already about 20 minutes or so into this, is let's go into support and education. So under the support menu, you'll see a lot of different things we have to offer here, from FAQs to web tutorials, ways to contact us, upload a photo. So let's briefly go through each one of these. And again, we'll be getting to the Q&A in just a couple of minutes. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into that message window, and we'll touch on them in just a few minutes at the end of the webinar. So here under our FAQ section, these are really top-level questions that we can answer for you kind of self-service. So stuff like, how do you change your password? What's your freight policy? Is there a tutorial on such and such? What can I expect from the TSRs? A lot of top-level questions that it's really a cool knowledge base that I encourage you all to explore. Here, let's go into web tutorials. We have a number of web tutorials that are video-based and text-based, and the videos are anywhere between 30 and 90 seconds, and the text-based tutorials are about a page long, and you can read through them step by step. And this is really kind of an on-demand version of the live webinar that you're seeing right now, and these are like quick hits. So there's one for search engine basics, there's one for the product filter, where we filtered by attribute before, there's one for finding resources on manufacturers. Here are all the different ways you can contact us. You can fill out a form here, call us, email us. We love hearing from you. And of course, on every single page here, you can tap on that live chat window. If you're trying to identify a product and you can't really figure it out, upload a photo to us and it'll be sent directly to our technical support team, and they'll be glad to identify it for you and get back to you. So one last thing before we get to the Q&A. We're going to go over education real quick. So here we have product spotlights, news on our company, news from the manufacturers that we support on the website, a full knowledge base of product-based stuff, web tutorials, really cool information that I encourage you to dive into. So the last thing on here that we're going to touch on today are list price books and resources. So if you go into catalog and tap on list price books, this is where you can find a price book for every single manufacturer that we offer on site. So if you scroll down, you'll see them all listed in alphabetical order. You can search for them broken down by alphabetical here. You can divvy them down by category. And on each one of them, you can either click on it to load it live on screen, and it'll take a second to load because these PDFs are usually pretty big because they're full catalogs. Search through them here, and you can also print here. You can also click on this down arrow to download a copy. And then the last thing here is if we dive into resources, you'll see diagrams in front of you, keyway diagrams, cylinder diagrams, lock functions, reference PDFs, and you can sort these by manufacturer as well. And of course, all of the things that we talked about today. If you go into manufacturers, you have all of each manufacturer's resources right in front of you here. So for example, let's take Adams Right. Now here, if you click on Adams Right, you can see all of their products sorted by series. And if you click on contact info, there's a way to contact them. And if you click on resources here, there is a full library of resources for Adams Right, and it's not just for them, it's for every manufacturer that we support. This is everything from videos to catalogs, installation instructions, technical memos, sell sheets, all viewable right on site, all downloadable straight to your device. So there is a full library of whatever you need specific to the product and the series that you're looking for. So with that, we'll jump right into the Q&A. And we'll take a look at a couple of questions here. So we have a question coming from Kevin who says, is the website the same experience on mobile as it is on desktop? And the answer is yes. The cool thing about seclock.com is that it's responsive. So as the size of your screen changes, whether it be from iPhone, Android, to iPad, tablet, larger monitor, smaller monitor, whatever, it will respond with you. So watch what happens as I resize the screen here. You'll see the menu up top start to change and respond with the size of the screen. So you're receiving a very similar experience no matter where you go. All the functionality, all of the literature, all of that is still exactly the same, and you will receive the same experience. The library is still there, the same buying experience is there. And so, yeah, to answer your question in short, yes. The next question, and this is the last one you'll probably have time for, is from Anthony, who says, if I deal with a particular TSR, is there a way to chat with them specifically rather than going into a pool of people? So if you go in here and open up a chat with our TSRs, then yes, what you can do is simply request the name of the TSR that you normally talk to, and we can pass the chat right over to them. So all you have to do is name them by name, we'll assign it to them, and then you can talk to the person that you're most familiar with. And that will wrap up today's webinar. So I want to thank you all for joining us. Our next webinar is going to be sometime in July, so I encourage you to look out for the announcement of the date on that. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at webinars@seclock.com. And you're always free to contact us via live chat or any of the ways that we discussed on the contact page today. So again, my name is Dan Zappulla, Senior Web Content Manager here at SLD. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.